It's really just about releasing the judgment around it. So many of the blocks or the fears or whatever it is for you really stick with us because we have this huge judgment around it, right? That it's this bad thing. And because it's this bad thing, then we need to fix it. We need to get rid of it. Okay. But sometimes when we can just release the judgment of it being good, bad, right, wrong, whatever that is, and just owning the fact that, hey, there is this part of me that has this deep fear of being rejected. And because I have this deep fear that sometimes this is the voice that controls my life. So because I fear this, maybe I don't show up online or I don't try to reach out to the romantic partner that I want to be with because I'm so afraid I'll be rejected. So it's having that awareness that this pattern is running the show, and then you constantly choosing to align with a future that mirrors what you wish to create. So it's like you just becoming so aware of the thing and knowing that, like, you simply just bringing awareness to that pattern, to that behavior, to that belief is literally enough to begin transcending it into something different. It's you having just this awareness that, hey, I have this thing, I have this area, I have this aspect of myself that operates and moves. And welcome back to the Shadow Priestess Embodied. I'm your host, Kaylin Rakowski, and thank you for joining me today for another deep dive and exploration into your inner world, into your body, the shadow realms, where we will begin to explore some of these esoteric principles and really begin to drop them down into modern day application and embodiment. This is a sacred place where you can begin to truly meet yourself, meet your medicine, and to meet your magic. This is a place of remembrance. Take a deep breath and let's begin. All right, you guys, welcome back for another episode of the Shadow Priestess Embodied. So today I am going to go off a little bit. I am going to go on a little rant, and I'm doing this because this is probably one of my biggest pet peeves in the spiritual space, in the online space, and being someone who works with clients in the realms of deep transformation, of rebirth, of really what it looks like to come home to self and live a spirit-led life. This is probably one of the biggest annoyances of mine, and one of the things that I see so many people getting trapped in, okay? And it's this idea that we have a healing journey. Now, before you roll your eyes and you want to turn this off, just hear me out for a minute. I feel that so many teachings or what you see in the online space for this new age spirituality is this whole idea that we have this healing journey. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have work to do. Okay? So let me just like preface this and just say, like, it's not that I'm saying that there isn't healing that needs to be done, or there isn't, shadow work or trauma or things that need to be released. I'm not negating the fact that some of us go through some really traumatic events, and some of us have trauma or these imprints that are also passed down through our bloodlines. So I'm not diminishing that or taking any of that away. But what I'm saying is we are constantly sold this idea that we have this healing journey, right? And it comes across that, we're broken, that we're not enough, that we always need to be striving to become better, whether that be a better person, better in your field, better in your industry. And it's really coming from this paradigm that you are not enough now or you are not whole. And what I see so many times with clients is that they always feel like there's more that they have to do. Like, I can't show up now and share my gifts and share my expertise because I don't know enough or I'm not healed enough or insert blank. I think you can get where I'm going with this. And I want to invite a different lens or perspective on this today because yes, there's always going to be deeper levels of our own aliveness, of our own expression, right? Of our own consciousness evolution that we can embody and unlock. Absolutely. But I think it's really time to ditch the lens or the belief that you are not whole or you are not enough already. And really coming back to the fact that in this moment, right here, right now, that you are absolutely perfect, that you are whole, that you are complete. And your healing isn't something that you need to go digging in these dark caves and looking for the next thing. What's the next thing I need to heal? What's the next block? If I just know a little bit more, if I just know a little bit more, okay, then I can do it. And really coming back home to the remembrance of your divinity, of your essence, of that wholeness that you are already, and knowing that just the more that you allow yourself to fully show up and be you, that the healing will take place. And whatever needs to be brought to the surface, whether this be a trauma, whether this be a belief, whether this be past lives, ancestral, you name it, trusting that when it is time for that specific imprint or that coding to be released, to be healed, that it will be illuminated in your field. It will be illuminated in your reality. And that's not something that you have to go digging for on this, hero's healing journey to wholeness, because you right now in this moment are already whole. So what if we began to drop this whole idea that we have this, quest essentially that we have to go on to find wholeness, and just dropped back into our bodies and the reclamation of our truth and of our essence. All right, so at a risk of contradicting myself, what I'm going to say is this: do we all have a healing journey? Yes. Okay. Literally, the reason why you're here and you incarnate on this planet is to heal, is to grow, is to evolve. Earth is pretty much like school for us. Okay. And it's a way that we get to deeper learn about ourselves, about the universe, and it's constantly giving us an opportunity to experience aliveness, to experience life. And there's always going to be deeper levels of healing, awakening, expansion that we will have access to. So healing is absolutely never done. Okay. However, there are a few things that we really need to understand, or that I think people take and almost go into a toxic expression of it. And the first thing to know is that if you are constantly looking for problems, or you're constantly looking for the block or the thing that needs to be healed, guess what? You will always find more. It will be an ever going black hole of shadow work where you will just continue to find problems and blocks and da 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 da. And the problem with this is that when you do this, you can get very stuck into the mind, into the emotion, right? Like just believing if I know a little bit more, or I just figure out if this is my father wound, sister wound, mother wound, whatever, then that will be the thing that changes everything for me. And while it's great to cultivate deeper awareness or to bring awareness into where you are operating out of misalignment, what I see all the time with my clients is that When we get stuck in the story, when we get stuck in the mind, when we get stuck in the emotion, it keeps us in this ever going loop or this pattern that actually prevents us from taking the action in our life, from actually doing the things that are going to cultivate change and create opportunities for choice. Okay. Because the real healing happens in the action. Okay. The real healing happens when you begin to show up differently, when you begin to respond differently, when you begin to move differently. That is what's actually creating the new neural pathways in the mind and creating a new story or experience around something that may have used to have been traumatic for you. So it's like healing is never done or fixed. And there are actually going to be some things in your life that you are literally here to learn and experience over a lifetime. Okay. So, what will happen is the universe will give you a wide variety of these experience of these different triggers that will come in and allow you to fully explore the full capacity of that frequency. So, maybe this can look like for you, you have a fear of rejection. So instead of trying to fix that, you feel this fear of rejection and staying in the mind and trying to figure it out and trying to shift your beliefs and this, that, and the other thing, you just began to play with the idea of what would it look like to accept that you have this fear of rejection instead of trying to fix it. What would happen if you integrated and you brought it into self instead of seeing this as bad or as wrong? And it's really just about releasing the judgment around it. So many of the blocks or the fears or whatever it is for you really stick with us because we have this huge judgment around it, right? That it's this bad thing. And because it's this bad thing, then we need to fix it. We need to get rid of it. Okay. But sometimes when we can just release the judgment of it being good, bad, right, wrong, whatever that is, and just owning the fact that, hey, there is this part of me that has this deep fear of being rejected. And because I have this deep fear that sometimes this is the voice that controls my life. So because I fear this, maybe I don't show up online or I don't try to reach out to the romantic partner that I want to be with because I'm so afraid I'll be rejected. So it's having that awareness that this pattern is running the show, and then you constantly choosing to align with a future that mirrors what you wish to create. So it's like you just becoming so aware of the thing and knowing that, like, you simply just bringing awareness to that pattern, to that behavior, to that belief is literally enough to begin transcending it into something different. It's you having just this awareness that, hey, I have this thing, I have this area, I have this aspect of myself that operates and moves and behaves in this way. And then it's by having the awareness that you actually get to begin cultivating choice. Okay, well, I know that this is coming from this part of myself. What would it look like to choose differently? Even though I do have this fear, what if I didn't let it run the show? And this is how we begin to create these new patterns. And really, you guys, whenever we're talking about addressing a pattern, a belief, whatever in your life, it's like you have two different roadmaps to doing this. You can look at how we solve the problem, right? Fixing the block, fixing the fear, etc. Or you have this other, which is my favorite, where you simply just get to choose to step into the solution. You get to step into the identity, the version of yourself who is already experiencing this or feels the fear and chooses to do it anyway. And what you're really doing here is moving from this place of awareness of the previous pattern, but also cultivating choice in curating and cultivating a life that is in alignment with what you are saying yes to. And sometimes it's not even about what you have to do, right? How do I have to fix it? How do I get rid of it? Let me do breath work. Let me do yoga. Let me do healing. Like, I see people go fucking bananas trying to find the thing that they have to do to fix it. When really the other choice is really focus on who you're being, right? You get to focus on the identity, bringing awareness and curiosity to where in your day you let this fear influence how you make decisions, how you behave, what you're choosing. And when you can let go of all of it that's not you, the full capacity of your essence, your authenticity begins to shine through. And truthfully, when we're talking about healing, this is what healing is at its core. It's letting go of all the false layers of conditioning, programming, identity, beliefs that you have taken into self. And it's like as you begin to let go of all of those layers and all of the things that you're not, you create the space for more of your essence, more of your authenticity, that God spark, right? That spark of divinity to fully come online and to be expressed. This is what we're talking about when we're speaking about healing and coming back to wholeness. It's about coming in alignment and the fullest expression and emanation of your frequency, of your essence. Something else that I feel is really important to touch on is that healing is not linear. Life is not linear, okay? And so many of us approach our lives, our expansion, our metrics of just success, aliveness, whatever, believing that it needs to be this constant linear path, always heading up, always bigger, always more. And that just isn't the case. And especially with healing, I see this time and time again with my clients where they'll get so frustrated or beat themselves up because they feel like they're going backwards. They feel like they're failing. And truthfully, healing is more of a spiral. Okay. You're constantly evolving. We're constantly moving. However, you're going to come up against some of the same patterns, belief, ways of being over and over and over again in your lives. And it's not because you're failing. It's not because you did something wrong. It's because as you grow and as you expand consciously, as you call back more of your essence, more of your expression, you then begin to peel back different layers of the same wound, of the same pattern. And it's like you had to also evolve and expand to such a level to even see this new layer of the same thing. Does that make sense? So, this could be, let's keep going on the fear of rejection. Maybe you begin to notice that you have a fear of rejection in romantic relationship and you're with a partner and you're working on that, etc., and you feel like you've healed it. You feel like you've moved through it. Now, let's say 5 years later, you're an entrepreneur and you're being called to step on stages and to create offers and programs, etc., and that same fear of rejection shows up again. And it's not because you're doing something wrong or, you didn't get rid of it. This is just showing a new layer, right? A new piece of the same fear that's asking for your attention, that's ready to be released. And that's kind of like what I was saying to at the beginning, where you don't have to go, being a dragon slayer, in the shadows looking for the things that need to be fixing. When it is time for you to release and to transmute and to emote these different things from the body, it'll be dropped into your awareness. It will be dropped into your physical reality for you to look at. But this isn't something that you need to constantly go looking for, okay? So just knowing that, like, as you evolve, as you expand, as your awareness, as your consciousness grows, it will unlock and unveil different layers that need to be addressed or that are ready to be integrated, to be transmuted, etc. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So it's not that you're going backwards. It's not that, oh God, here's this thing again. It's just a new layer. It's a new flavor, right? It's like now you can see it from a complete different paradigm or perspective. So there's going to be more things for you to transmute and to integrate. And I feel like that part is so important and missing, that we instantly just feel like we're doing something wrong or we failed, when really, like, this is part of healing. There's always going to be deeper levels. There's always going to be new depths that you can go to surrounding a certain pattern, belief, experience, but that also takes you allowing yourself to grow and expand consciously to even have awareness to it. Okay. And I think that it's really important for us to realize that why we're so busy, trying to work on ourselves and trying to be better and, trying to heal, which I'm not saying any of that is wrong. Like, that is a very crucial piece to my own life. But I think there's a difference in being so embedded and so ingrained in the healing work, right? In the emotion, like always drifting off into the higher planes or the inner planes, that you forget that you literally came here to have a human experience. Okay. You aren't a human with a spirit. You are a spirit with a body, with a human. And the most spiritual thing you can do is to allow yourself to fully be alive, to experience life, to be fully present in the now and the aliveness and the juiciness, like 100% divine and 100% human at the same exact time. That's where you have this beautiful intersection of life, of living. And you're betraying yourself or doing a disservice to yourself, to humanity, if you don't fully allow yourself to be human and to come in live and to experience the juiciness, the deliciousness of life that is available to you right here, right now. It's not you having to wait to, know this certain benchmark in your mind that you have set. Like, once I know this and once I heal this, then I'll be ready and then I can experience blank. No, sis, like, life is happening right now, and you get to choose to be fully anchored here right now and to be present here right now and to bring your fullness, your aliveness, your essence, your expression, all of you to the now, because that is where life is happening. That is where the gold is. That is where the juiciness is. And that is why I'm so passionate about ditching this whole idea that we have this healing journey that we have to constantly be on and be so fully enwrapped in, that we miss the presence of being alive, that we miss what we came here to do in the first place, which is to be 100% human while being 100% divine. Let's ditch this whole idea of having the healing journey. You are perfect. You are whole. You are enough right here, right now, and start bringing your full power, your full expression, all of your magic to your life, and watch your life change. If this is an episode that has left you wanting more and you are really ready to deep dive into your own shadows, into your identity work, into your uniqueness, your otherness, then let me just tell you that identity work, deep transformation is my absolute domain and my favorite place to guide and work with my clients through. And if you are ready to really be devoted to yourself and see what can happen when you really unlock that next level of self-expression, then I do have a few select one-on-one private mentor spaces that have just opened up, as well as my favorite, most delicious group mastermind, Emergence, is reopening the doors this September. If this is something you're interested in, click the link in my bio, and I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me today for another juicy episode of Shadow Priestess Embodied. I absolutely love diving in and having these conversations with you all. If this is an episode that you found intriguing, that you found some nuggets in, please share it with a friend and be sure to subscribe and follow me so you can be present for all of the upcoming transmissions, activations, and downloads that I'll be bringing to our community. Have an absolutely magical day, and I'll see you soon.